Hello everybody and welcome to our F1 22 My Team Career Mode. We are finally doing a My Team here on the channel instead of a driver career mode. I hope you're all excited, and we are debuting the Trackhouse F1 team here this season, which has been a groundbreaking formula to success in the NASCAR Cup Series, led by that guy right there, Justin Marks, who has brought Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez to victory lane in the NASCAR Cup Series. Suarez becoming Mexico's first ever top series in the NASCAR level winner here now, as he has brought Kimi Räikkönen into the Cup Series as well from Formula 1 after his retirement, and now they are going Formula 1 racing here as they try to bring their same formula here to Formula 1 here, as they actually hired myself to be in the, of course, first ride of this car. We're going to be alongside Oscar Piastri here, as we see in our Formula 2 side of things. We were actually with the Red Bull pipeline, and we actually won 3 races in our rookie season in Formula 2. Didn't quite win the championship, but we make the step into Formula 1 this season alongside, like I said, Oscar Piastri. You saw the settings that we are running right there. Running number 99 since 24 was taken by GOWEN, as we're going for a bit of a blue and black kind of theme and a little bit of white of an accent on this car and whatnot with this whole team for this debut season. No mods in the game yet. We'll be getting mods as quick as we possibly can, as you would expect here. As you can see, the fire suit that I would end up going with, it might change up. Not sure how I'm really feeling about that, but we actually signed with Echo here as our sponsorship, and we're going to be powered by Red Bull powertrain. So Red Bull, we're in the Red Bull pipeline. We've actually been lent to Trackhouse by Red Bull, kind of like how they lent Albon over to Williams as well. So there you see myself looking through the liveries and whatnot, and we're going to take a look here at our livery reveal in just a moment. But we're not just an owner driver. Justin Marks is the owner of this team, but we are just a driver, but we have a big say in the direction of this team. But let's check out the reveal of the car. There you see the reveal of our beautiful livery, the blue, black, and white, as well as a little bit of a red accent in there as well. So excited for the season, showing off the HQ here. We actually got to do an interview with Will Buxton, but like I said, you know, the normal thing here with the F1 My Team is that you're just an owner driver, but with the storyline we're going with is Justin Marks from the NASCAR Cup Series with the team there is actually the owner of this F1 team. We are just a driver, but he has brought us over as a rookie, but has as well asked us to take a big leadership role and help develop this team and this car more than you would see a normal driver to actually do with their team. So we're still going to have a lot of say in upgrades that happen and whatnot, and so is Oscar Piastri here, and it's up to himself and I as the 2 rookies here in Formula 1 to, of course, build resource points for this team to be able to spend here. As you can see myself really quickly going through everything there, getting some upgrades. We're really focusing on the chassis of this car. I want to get this car light as possible. It starts out really heavy. We want to make the car as light as we possibly can. So that's going to be what we're really focusing on here in the first couple of episodes now, as we have Bahrain coming up here today, and as well we have Saudi Arabia going into the next episode at Jeddah there. As you can see, we actually do a preseason advertisement campaign as well as a driver training camp for our teammate Piastri here, but we went with the campaign because we're trying to really bring money into the team. Although you know, a campaign, an ad campaign, is not going to help us with resources and whatnot. It's going to bring in some money to the team that, well, makes it a little bit easier for us to spend that on making upgrades here to the durability, you know, or the aerodynamics, etc., the chassis there, the powertrains as well. So we come through though into our very first practice session here in Bahrain, coming out of Formula 2, 3 wins on that season. Piastri, of course, being so strong in Formula 2 as well. So we have quite the lineup here, the rookie lineup here with this Trackhouse Racing team. A big chance Justin Marks has taken, but he's had a revolutionary approach in the NASCAR Cup Series that's worked so well. He's taking it to Formula 1, bringing 2 rookies into the sport with myself and Piastri. But we're not the only rookies here on the grid. We also have GOWEN, who we're going to be going up against here as a rookie as well. I'm actually going to be keeping track of all the stats of all the drivers here in this season, in this career mode that we do, with wins and podiums and championships and poles and whatnot. So I'm excited for that. And as well, I have an all-times drivers win list in the top 10 that we're going to keep in track of to see if that changes around a little bit here and there, but don't expect that to change too much here now, as we were getting to grips now with our Trackhouse racing car. And it was a bit of a boat. That's kind of the best way to put it. It didn't want to turn very well. It didn't want to brake very well at first, but I started getting the hang of it. You can see grip was a bit of an issue. Actually go for a bit of a spin as well. So getting just kind of up to speed with this F122 brand new car was a bit of a challenge. I can see myself making tons of mistakes here in practice, but you know, the best part about this is it's practice for a reason, so I wasn't too concerned with the way the car was driving at this point here, and it was actually just continuously building confidence as Charles Leclerc was currently at the top of the grid at the end of free practice 1. We were down in P21. Now we start as a newcomer team, so obviously this car is not going to be the fastest car on the grid. We're going to have a long fight ahead if we want to even get to the midfield. I'm not expecting any points finishes other than if we have some insane GP where a whole bunch of people retire, which is always possible in the F1 game, but when it comes to just a race going smoothly and no issues for most of the drivers, I doubt we're going to score any points for quite some time. With this Trackhouse car, it's up to myself and Oscar Piastri, who have a lot more, like I said, of an elevated role than other teams as drivers to develop this car with our team owner of Justin Marks, who I said brings in this revolutionary new idea to Formula One, just like he did in the Cup Series over in the United States. So this is, you know, the United States actually second team here now in Formula One, joining Haas here with a Canadian driver of myself and an Australian there of Oscar Piastri here. As we can see my laps here in qualifying, obviously not expecting to get out of Q1. I was expecting to be out here very quick with this 22 car grid now, as my first time ever doing my team, a whole new learning experience for me. I didn't know what to expect, but so far I'm absolutely loving it. Fortunately, I've had no issues with this game other than it coming out like 7 hours late on Steam, which really screwed things up, and that's why this episode's going out a bit later than I would have liked, so I do apologize about that. But we come through here towards the end of my second lap in qualifying, and I was once again just starting to build my confidence in this car, find my braking points. It's a whole new situation with finding your braking points here on F1 22 now as we come through this final corner, and we've managed to find an extra second in time, but it would actually not be enough to really do anything. I went P14 for the time being. I was like, wow, I did not expect that. Well, we actually went dead last here. Kevin Magnussen actually got a 5 grid place penalty for illegal blocking here in the first GP of the season, but you see it right there. We're dead last on the grid. Our team at Piastri with a relatively solid effort there in 18th place. So not what I was looking for. I was hoping to be a little bit closer to Piastri, about 0.6 of a second between himself and I, but you look at between him, only a half a second between him and about Yuki Tsunoda in 11th place. So it's going to be interesting to see how the R&D works out this season, but nonetheless, it is time to head to the grid for our first race here in Formula One.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. We go racing today around the 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Sainz, George Russell and Hamilton, Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Ocon and Mick Schumacher, Gasly, Tsunoda, Lando Norris and Joe, Vettel, Magnussen, Alex Albon and Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Ricciardo, Latifi and Golden Boy. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as once again we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. They've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
There you heard David Croft. I believe they have new commentators now in this game, but I'm going to try and switch them out manually. I think you have to do every other episode or so. I'm going to try and get some new commentators to do the whole pre-race stuff here now as you would get underway for formation lap. It is a one-stop strategy, medium to hard compound tire. Everybody's on that strategy because now even if you qualify in the top 10, you can actually select what tire you want to start on with the new rules in Formula 1 this season. My first time coming up to that little start gate here now, and actually stopped way too early, and then yeah, it took me a bit of a moment here to correctly get into where I needed to, as you can tell, but nonetheless we're ready to go green for the first race of our F1 career with this Trackhouse team debut. It's lights out and we are underway. Charles Leclerc, the Monegascan, in front, defending Formula 1 World Drivers Champion. Max Verstappen in second here from 2021 there. You see Leclerc take a bit of a defensive line briefly down into turn 1. Verstappen, Perez side by side. You see Hamilton, you see Russell, Bottas, as well as Sainz are right there in the background trying to scrap it out, but you're going to see a great start there from Charles Leclerc. Myself, actually, I'm going to pass the Lance Stroll, fellow Canadian, right here as we make this big long run here down into the sweeping right-hander, and I'm just really trying to be careful here. Don't really want to get the elbows out too much. I don't want to make a silly mistake. You see Piastri there in front of Alex Albon there for a brief moment now, as you can see Sebastian Vettel there in the frame as well, and that Aston Martin, which is slow as molasses here through the corners, but it is very fast in a straight line, and we're going to find out, I'm sure, the hard way tonight under the lights in Bahrain. Verstappen holds on to second place. Can he stay within DRS range of Charles Leclerc? That's the question there. We'll have to wait and see how that sorts itself out, as Perez currently runs in that third position as they both try to chase down the leader of Charles Leclerc. In my Formula 1 2021 career mode, I think we only saw Leclerc win, what, 1 or 2 races maximum, and here you are trying to see him already get his first one tonight in Bahrain for this season opening race with this brand new F1 22 car, which they look so good, by the way. Even the my team car looks pretty solid, other than the nose is so wide. I cannot stand the look of the nose. Oh my goodness, it is atrocious. That's the only part of the car that I'm not a fan of here now as we were closing in on completing this first and opening lap. By the way, I mentioned the Williams up ahead. That's actually Nicholas Latifi, another fellow Canadian, not Alex Albon. Usually the roles are reversed with Albon ahead. Not quite the case here. As you can see, I gave up a little bit of time to Kevin Magnussen there in P19 right now. Not really expecting to see Magnussen this far back in the Haas, but obviously he got that 5 grid place penalty. That is why he is back here for that illegal blocking in qualifying here now. So I was trying my best to stay within the 1 second threshold to get that DRS here when we came to lap 3. Fortunately, I was able to do that, but here you can see on just lap 3 of the season opener, Esteban Ocon, he's actually had a mechanical failure in the Alpine. He pulls over to the right side of the track. He's going to be out of the session. No virtual or physical safety car. We stay green here as we continue to try and close in on Kevin Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren as well, and you can actually see them start to scrap it out a little bit in front of us here. Ricciardo, a bit of a defensive line, and actually Oscar Piastri, one thing to note about him is actually, I would get told over the radio from our new race engineer, not Jeff anymore, Mark, that Oscar actually had a bit of an issue going on in the car, so his pace was going to start falling off here over the next lap or 2, so we would expect to probably actually pass him here within the next handful of laps, as I'm all over the rear diffuser of Kevin Magnussen here. But on lap 4, the conclusion of lap 4, coming to lap 5, this is when we would really see Piastri start to struggle with whatever issue was going on in his car. Not the debut we're looking for, with issues already with one of our teammates as we head down into turn 1. There's about 3 wide in front of us with Latifi, Piastri in the middle, Ricciardo on the outside. Ricciardo backs out of it, stays in line behind them, but it's about to get a little bit crazier, I'm sure, as we're going to go to the left-hand side of K-Mag. But look at the straight line speed that Haas has compared to myself here. Piastri's at risk of losing another spot. Ricciardo actually runs into Piastri. 2 Australians come together. Piastri goes wide. Now he's under attack from Alex Albon in the Williams here. He loses a bunch of time as I was able to squeak my way through as well. And you can see Albon's going to be able to get ahead of Piastri, who drops down to now 20th place. In the background, Lance Stroll's off the circuit. What's just happened there? And here you see exactly what happened to Lance Stroll. He just simply lost control of his car and continued on, but obviously not what you want if you're Lance Stroll here running at the very back of this grid. And now as that was all happening, I had DRS and I actually was able to get around the left side of Magnussen, who actually had a lockup into the corner before, and I was able to pass him and move up into 17th place. But this was a very short-lived pass here because Magnussen just had so much more speed in the Haas. He was able to overtake me with no problems, and I would have DRS down the front straightaway, but I would have liked not to use it because I knew how much faster Magnussen was. I said instead, let's allow you to pull me closer to Daniel Ricciardo and the cars ahead of him like Nicholas Latifi, who were kind of racing as well. As I noticed in this F1 22 game so far, it is so easy to burn through the ERS. It is very, very easy, so you can't really use the ERS as much as you used used to here. Another issue for Lance Stroll behind Piastri on lap 8. He just simply loses the front handling of his car, goes wide again. A miserable start to the season for a terribly hard to drive Aston Martin. Speaking of hard to drive, you see myself right there with some oversteer. That left the door open for Alex Albon, who would drive past me, move up into P17. Albon into the pit lane at the end of lap 12. We were coming in at the end of lap 13, and so pretty much would a whole bunch of drivers, basically half the field. Charles Leclerc would lead the pit cycle here for the top 5 into the pit lane. There he goes, and he's going to bring Max Verstappen with him, and Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, they're going to both remain on the circuit for now, but hard compound tires going on for both Verstappen and Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton just now coming in as well. I'm hoping to see Lewis Hamilton win some races in this debut season of F1 22, but it's going to take some work from Toto Wolff and that whole Mercedes team. Fernando Alonso in the Alpine, the only actual Alpine left in the race currently, after his teammate of Esteban Ocon had issues on just the third lap of this race, and that resulted in a mechanical failure. A bit of a slow stop there. It looked like he had to wait for Pierre Gasly actually here. Now I was paying a lot of attention to these pit stops. Here comes Zhou Guanyu into the pit box, and he would actually have an issue right here on the right front tire. You're going to see right there they're actually having issues getting it on. So it's cool to see that other AI teams can also have these pit errors, not just your own car. But here I was now into the pit lane. Ricardo already made his stop coming out just in front of me, but we're going to come in, put on the hard compound tire, and everything goes smooth for our team. So no issues right there, as we were just about halfway through this race already here in our F1 debut, getting ready to re-enter the track here now on this hard compound tire. And I forgot about the cold tire situation here. So the cold tires are very hard to handle coming into the pit lane compared to F1 2021. You're seeing right off the bat I'm struggling really hard right here. I felt like Lewis Hamilton after his first pit stop, I think it was, in Bahrain in real life, and Albon's able to just cruise right on by me, and I had nothing for him. My tires, they were heating up, but it was not happening as quick as I was hoping it would, and I would lose about 5 seconds to Albon here in just a matter of laps. It was pretty embarrassing, to be honest now, as I also ran into another issue. I didn't put enough fuel in the car. You can see right there I am flirting with running out of fuel on the end of this race here. Now as you see, Zhou Guanyu actually had a bit of a run in here with Kevin Magnussen into a corner you do not want to go side by side into, and Zhou Guanyu, rookie, found out the hard way and actually would drop down to P17 just in front of me, and then our DRS actually would go offline here on lap 18. So the second problem for a Trackhouse car here tonight, as our teammate of Piastri had issues earlier. I run into an issue with the DRS and then I go wide. Fortunately, we don't hit anything right there, but Piastri's issues had then been solved, and he was actually closing in on me very quick, but I was having to save field, so I was having to do the lift and coast before I would brake. So it wasn't just throttle, brake. No, it was let off the throttle, coast, then brake to try and save fuel. Unfortunately, I was giving up quite a bit of time doing that just about every other corner, it felt like at this point. I did take fuel out of the car before the race, but I didn't think I took out enough to where I was actually going to have fuel issues, but I was obviously wrong here. As you can see, the late race update here: George Russell P5, Lewis Hamilton 6, Alonso 7th, Schumacher in position to get his first points in Formula 1. Can he hold on to an 8th place finish over Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris, who are trying to chase him down? Yuki Tsunoda as well, just outside of the points now. As you see, Bottas right now not running as good as you would expect him to be in that Alfa Romeo. Sebastian Vettel, on the other hand, having a superb night here in P13 over Magnussen and Ricardo. Albon and Zhou Guanyu there in 17th place, and myself in 18th, but Piastri was closing in quick. You can see just behind myself, there's Piastri with just about within DRS range actually of myself. So I was getting ready to be under attack here from Piastri very soon, but actually on lap 21 there goes around Yuki Tsunoda. Now actually just a very textbook issue or mistake right there. Too much throttle, around he goes. He would continue after losing some spots, but moments after that happened, here I am actually under attack now from Oscar Piastri here, our teammate, who's going to lunge up the inside. I didn't even bother fighting him because I saw the pace he had and I understood the situation that I had put myself in, to where I really can't fight too hard because I don't have enough fuel on the car. And you can see me right there doing the lift and coast before I get on the brakes kind of strategy to save as much fuel as I possibly can, hoping that I can stay within DRS range of Oscar here. But you can see right there on the MFD that the fuel is just not looking good. It's very borderline is what it is. Like, we're not going to run out, but we're certainly not safe either, as on lap 26 of 29, Piastri is actually going to have a mechanical failure here. You're going to see smoke pouring out of the rear of his car, and that's going to be the end of the day for our teammate of Piastri. Their first retirement in the first race for Trackhouse Racing. Not what you want to see there. Now, obviously, I start to wonder about myself. Am I going to be safe here? That's the next question. Hey, what's the deal with Oscar, guys?
Oscar is out of the race. It looks like we might have an issue. Hang in there. We're attacking
attempting to manage it.
Moments after Piastri's mechanical failure, well, after you hear myself to the radio to the team, we get told we have an issue. It turned out to be an ERS issue. We have no ERS anymore, so thankfully it's not going to be a retirement. I'm always concerned when I hear that message, but you immediately see the difference right here. Latifi, fellow Canadian, able to just blow right on past me right there, and I just can't really do anything. I have to rely on the DRS on the front straightaway, but even then, it wasn't enough. Lance Stroll, we have a 3 Canadian battle right here, and here goes Lance Stroll, who's going to easily blow past me here. I have no ERS. I can't do anything. I'm just following at this point here, and then I look behind us here, and I see Charles Leclerc, the leader of the race, is very close. We might actually be on the final lap of this race for ourselves because Leclerc just started the final lap, and I think he's going to get to us to get the blue flag. So here I am having to step it up here. The ERS had actually gotten fixed on this final lap here, what it's going to be for us, and I make a 3-wide lunge into the right-hander. All 3 of us Canadians going at it. We passed both Latifi and Stroll, an aggressive move. The blue flags would start waving, and I was hoping to get lapped because I wasn't confident I could run a whole lap on feel, and there goes Leclerc passes right now. So we go a lap down, and I was, like I said, in the closing moments, I was like, please put me a lap down because the fuel situation was not good enough. We were probably going to run out of fuel in the probably last corner of the race here if we had actually been able to go the full distance. So this right here was a saving moment potentially here now as we run P18. Not the night, you know, that we were looking for, but at the same time, everything kind of did go smooth for us other than we lost ERS, and we lost our ERS for a brief period of time. But nonetheless, we have held on through adversity here and running P18 on this final lap. You see the field, we were still in the negative on field, but it's not going to matter because we run one less lap due to going a lap down. Charles Leclerc wins in dominating fashion here in the season over in Bahrain. We finished P18 in our Formula 1 and Trackhouse F1 team debut here. Now, like I said, not the best finish in the world, but I was overall pretty satisfied with that result here. Now as we hold off the Canadians of Stroll and Latifi. Ricardo, driver of the day. Let's head to the podium.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
There you see the finishing results on your screen. What a GP it was here in Bahrain. The AI are really aggressive, I've noticed so far in this game. Borderline maybe too aggressive, but so far I'm not minding it there. As you can see, Verstappen comes home in second place over Perez and Sainz as well, and Ferrari leads the constructors after just one race. So way too early to get involved in that. And actually, we have a personnel department event here that took place after the weekend here in Bahrain, where we would actually have to choose between pace or awareness to what to focus on for our teammate Piastri. I did not notice an issue with pace with Piastri. He was faster than me, so I said he should focus on probably awareness here for this event right now as well. We got some more R&D points. We got some more money, obviously, after the race, so trying to get some upgrades in the car for next episode. Now it's a back-to-back race, so we don't have no off weeks, so we are not really expecting any upgrades going into Jeddah. So very excited for that one. That's a track I've always really gelled with so far in F1 2021. So here in F1 22, it'll be interesting to see if that kind of success from there can carry over to us this time around with the brand new car and just learning the big learning curve that this car is so far. And as well, we have Australia coming up. So we got some new tracks here on the schedule, new configurations, I should say, with Australia coming up, Spain, Imola with a sprint race I'm excited for as well. A lot of things to look forward to here after this first episode, which I hope you guys really enjoyed this first episode of this F1 22 my team career mode. If you did enjoy, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day for watching. I will see you guys in the next one for back-to-back night races in Jeddah for the Saudi Arabian GP. Thank you so much once again for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, everybody.